Hello traders and welcome to today's daily watch list. Let's begin by talking about Ethereum, right? If you remember, we were looking at a possibility of a buy in Ethereum at the break of the 3600 level, right? Because we were looking at this ABC, possible ABC pattern, but that completely broke to the downside, but I'm still looking at some buy opportunities in this market. And the reason that I'm still looking for buy opportunities, and the reason that, well, the deeper Ethereum drops, the better for us, is because of the next rally, right? So let's have a look at the daily. And yeah, the daily looks extremely bearish at the moment. But, well, from high to low, we have dropped about 35%, right? But there's still the next buy zone in Ethereum, which is around the 2550, right? Right about at these highs. Now, the thing about this is that if Ethereum continues to drop like it's been dropping, it's very plausible that it's going to break with the bullish structure. But, like I said before, like I said yesterday, it really doesn't matter to me because I trade levels, right? Now, personally, I bought Ethereum at this level, at the buy level that I was discussing, and I got stopped out at a 1% loss, which is fine, right? Which is completely fine. Now, if we look at the 4-hour chart, well, the 4-hour chart is giving us another buy zone around the 2600 level. So I do have a couple of buy limit orders placed here, right? The reason that this is not going to be a VIP signal is because, well, stop losses are way too wide, right? Well, with the risk that we are trading with the signals account, we cannot get on a buy at this level with stop loss below these lows around the 1900 level. But still, I'm going to share this analysis with you, right? So why don't we have a look and let's plug some Fibonacci levels and let's see the retracement. If we have, let's see if we get a confluence of Fibonacci retracement and extension levels, right? So the 61.8 is right there around the 2600 level. Right there around the 2600 level. Now, let me just delete all of this that I had here. This ABC is no longer in play, of course. But the bullish structure or the bullish market it's still very much valid, in my opinion, above the 2600 level. Now, if price comes down and breaks with this level, well, all bets are really off for Ethereum and cryptocurrencies overall, right? Now, let's have a look because we do have another zone here, which is this one. Well, we just broke with that zone. Sorry, it's this one right here, these highs. So basically, what I'm looking at is a dip to this zone for a deep buy. Now, if this makes sense to you, I would advise going in with very low risk because this this move to the downside is very strong. Now let's see where those targets to the downside are really placed. Now, if we look at the 161.8 of this move to the upside, right? I'm looking at the, well, we could be looking at the 161.8 of the last leg up, but that completely, that's really out of the question, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the 161.8 of the last of the really last leg up, which is this one right here. So we're going to be placing the lows of our Fibonacci retracement and the highs right here. So the 161.8 is a little below those levels, but still we do have a Fibonacci bundle right here, around the 24,000 level. And if you notice here, I do have an alert on Ethereum at the 24,000 level, right? So this market keeps dipping. It keeps really dipping. Personally, I'm going to be looking for some buy opportunities around the 2800 level. And if it continues dipping, my last level to be buying would be the 2580 level, 2550 level, right? Now, Bitcoin, same thing. But Bitcoin is a little bit different, but because if we look at the daily, right, this was the really important zone in Bitcoin. And to be completely honest, the next zone in Bitcoin that I really see for potential buys is the 32,000 level, around these lows. Well, we could go to the 4-hour chart, and why don't we, right? If we go to the 4-hour chart and let's just plug a line on this level right here, these highs, right? We are right there. We are right there in Bitcoin. But to me, the real or the clear buy in cryptos is Ethereum. Now, I'm not going to go through Ripple and Litecoin because I'm really not looking at those markets, but I want to show you what we have going on with the DAX, right? Yesterday we shorted the DAX right here, and we made quite the profit on this drop. Now, if we look at the this is the 4-hour chart. Why don't we look at the hourly? I do believe that we still have some room to go down, right? Because we are really trading below this massive key level, the weekly pivot. Well, if we break with these highs or yesterday's highs, of course, all bets are off for shorts. But we already took some nice profits on this short. Now, yesterday on the live session, I was discussing a possibility of shorting the Nasdaq right here, and that actually panned out. But because I was already short on the DAX, I decided against it. Now, gold, on the other hand, we are still very much looking for that dip to the to these levels, right? I do believe that we have. Let me see. Right. I do believe that we have targets a little bit lower, right? A little bit lower than this level, around the 1845, I reckon. Yes, 1845. So what we're going to do, right? What we're going to do is we're going to have a look at what happens when gold hits these previous highs, right? When gold hits these previous highs, and if sellers are not strong enough to break through them, we are going to close that short in gold on a very nice profit. But really, the zone that I'm looking for is the retest of the previous week's highs, because what I'm looking for is this, right? A retest of the previous week's highs around the 1845 to close our shorts, of course, and then to look for buys. But for the time being, let's have a look at how our gold shorts are doing. Well, they're doing fine, actually. If we look at the 4-hour chart, really, the 4-hour chart is really the one that I was looking at. And if we draw some structures right here on this market, you can see that, well, we are quite still looking for some downside move. All right, so this is the structure that I was, I mean, that we're playing with, and the reason that we decided to go short in gold, even though the MAM is still long, but I'm going to show you what I did here. What I did here is that I hedged my longs in gold. This is the 4-hour chart. Let me show you the 1-hour chart because this is what I did. I'm still long, and as you can see, my long position has no doesn't have a stop loss, right? Yesterday I shorted with the same size that I had on my longs as I hedge, and today. When I saw the breaks of yesterday's lows, I shorted again a little heavier, right? And the reason that I shorted a little heavier is because I am looking for that pullback to this level, to the 1844, 1845 level, right? Before that, it was just a hedge, which means that had price in gold just rallied, I would have been stopped out at a small loss on my hedge, but but because I had the same size that my longs, the profits that I would have made on that small rally would have erased those small losses. That's what hedges are all about. But the thing about gold is this, right? I don't know if you remember. I was telling you that this was the reason that I took profits here, because this is a massive level. It's the 161.8 of the last leg down, the 50% retracement of the entire move down, and it is quite the important area, right? So I was expecting a deep pullback before a possible breakout. So that's why we decided to short gold. You know, crude oils is still very much not on my radar. I'm not even going to show you, but once and if I mean, there's two levels that I'm looking at in crude oil, right? This is WTI, a break of the 67 level, a true break of these highs, or a break below, right? I haven't been following too much its market because it has been chopping around this or inside of this range for a while. So no, I'm not interested in it. But if price continues to dip, I will be looking for those sales, at least to retest these previous lows right here, which will make for a nice risk to reward ratio. Now the US dollar, after yesterday's dip, now this is quite interesting, right? Now this this is very, very, very much interesting, the US dollar, and this is the other reason that we were looking for those shorts in gold, because hold on, yeah, because of this, right? The 161.8, right? As you can see, the 161.8 is really, really a good measurement for targets, right? The 161.8 right here is the 161.8 of the last leg up, right? So when sellers jumped in at this level, this is the midterm targets they were looking at. Not only that, but we do have the retest of these previous lows, which is a massive key level. Why? Because this is where we saw buyers jumping into this market. Now, I'm still bearish on the US dollar, right? I'm still bearish on the US dollar on the long term, mid-term, but we cannot, we cannot be selling the US dollar at these lows. More so after looking at this 4-hour candle that engulfs the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles of price action. This is massive, massive bullishness. So what I'm expecting here is a possible rally to the weekly pivot and to this previous level, right? Which would create a retest of the bearish structure on which we will be looking for sales. But for the time being, or for the short term, buys are in play in the US dollar, right? And if we look at the daily and at the hourly, it looks very, 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 very bullish. So let's have a look at the Euro US dollar. The Euro US dollar, I mean, this bullish move on the USD is giving us that pullback that we talked yesterday to the previous week's highs for a buy opportunity on the Euro USD, which will be, of course, a short play on the US dollar. Now, the pound versus the US dollar, I'm very bullish on the pound, so I wouldn't be shorting this market at all. And I couldn't find, I couldn't find a real setup to buy the GBP USD. I mean, we could be looking at some buys around this level, but to me, it is quite speculative. USD CAD. Now, the USD CAD, on the other hand, because of the US dollar rally, let's have a look at the 4-hour chart, right? Because of these US dollar rallies giving us maybe a sell opportunity, but like I've been telling you for a while, even though that I've been telling you this for the past, let's have a look, for the past 600 pips to the downside, I really, really need a big pullback to a key level, at least to the 122.50, for me to get in short in this market. That's what I'm looking at on the USD CAD, the Aussie USD, and the New Zealand dollar, US dollar, both are dipping, right? I'm sorry, yeah, both are dipping against the USD. The US dollar, Japanese yen, on the other hand, we could have had a buy opportunity here, but the thing about this buy, and the reason we didn't take this buy, is because, let me just delete this level, and let's create a new one. The reason that we didn't take this buy is because the confirmation of a bullish reversal is right here, right? Because, I mean, if price stops here, it would create a lower high, which means that the immediate bearish structure would not be broken with. And by taking a long position here, the risk to reward ratio to first targets is just not good enough. The pound yen. I know a lot of you like to trade this market. I also like to trade this market. Historically, it is my best trade, profit-wise, but we are still here. I mean, we are still here. We are still inside of this rising. Yeah, I mean, let's call it a rising pennant, right? This market is very bullish, and actually, let's have a look at the Japanese yen futures. Real quick, 6J. Right, the Japanese yen futures are dropping after yesterday's rise, right? After yesterday's pop above the weekly pivot, we're seeing some really, really bearish move on the Japanese yen, which is making for a bullish momentum on yen pairs, right? US dollar, Japanese yen, pound yen, euro yen, etc. So, and the range at the top of this market is really, 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 really short. So I'm not looking for buys at the moment, right? I wouldn't be a seller, even though this looks very much like a sell opportunity if we break with yesterday's lows. Actually, let's have a look at the daily where we are trading at. I think we're going to have to go to a 4-day chart or so. So basically, we still have these targets to the upside, and we are above this level right here. So yeah, I mean, on the daily, we are trading in the middle of this range, right? This is a massive, massive, massive level, and we could have a reversal here, which is what I'm looking at. Well, I'm not looking at a reversal play per se, but if price because just have a look at the 4 hour chart, right? Price action is super choppy right here. And and when price action just chops the way it's chopping at the top of a move, it signals, to me at least, and in this market at least, a possible reversal. So by going to the hourly, um, let's have a look at what could yield here, right? So maybe a short position uh, below yesterday's lows, which would break with this structure, and a retest of these lows, which confluence with the weekly pivot, would yield a nice 1 to 1.7 risk to reward ratio. But like I said, I wouldn't be a seller in this market, which is very, very bullish. Now, this is what I'm looking at, and if you have questions, you can always email support. Yeah, trade safely, and I'll see you guys later.